I said 1, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, rock.
What's up,
Ready?
guys?
Hey,
How's
microphone fans.
how's my view?
The perfect. Blocking that ugly ass face of yours, fool. Fucking microphone's gigantic and it sounds like shit. That just goes to prove, ladies, bigger isn't always better.
I don't like when it spreads my walls.
Wow. Oh. Well, Fat Earth Podcast, we're coming in every night for the last 10 days. How's it going, Big Jim?
Real good, man. How you holding up?
I'm doing well. Had that thunderstorm wake my ass up this morning, but
We
sometimes
didn't
it's
we didn't
nice.
get it as bad, or I chalked it up to people moving in, which you never really know around this apartment complex.
Yeah, they might have been moving bodies out.
I heard someone running their garbage disposal one time for like 3.5 minutes. I questioned humanity at that point. I said,
Yeah.
what is this person putting down their drain? And should I be worried? Is this above me, below me, or
Yeah.
anywhere connected? Because I don't need it to be.
Clogging up the fucking drain systems.
Shooting pasta in my asshole when I'm just trying to take a shit.
You know that pasta expands in the tubes. That's how my
Fun,
fucking pipes got all jacked up.
fun Italian fact: don't put starch down your drains.
No. No.
That's a trash can deluxe.
Yeah. It's a trash can delight.
Well,
Well,
more news in the on the work front. I've been put on the COVID-19 Chevy committee, so
oh yeah.
don't know totally what this entails yet. But after about the 14 emails I fielded by 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. today, I can only see it's gonna piss me off.
Yeah, I think that's the smart list.
Yeah, they
It's like all
go.
the people that are smart are on that list.
Well, I snuck in under the door, just grabbing my hat from behind like Indiana Jones. Then
Yeah,
the
yeah.
boulder damn near crushed my 85 IQ ass. But I'll tell you
Wow.
this:
85 is simple-minded. I don't think you're that. You might be
no,
87.
no.
We
I
should
remember
do
one
a
time
IQ test on the air one time. Really fucking see where we're at.
really blood. No, I've done one. I think I know where I'm at, but I'm not announcing that. But I do know
Mm,
when I was young and I was getting in trouble in middle school, my parents had like this counselor uh, give me an IQ test, and then like they're like, we think maybe he's got a learning disability, and I'm telling them all the time, I'm like, guys, I'm just not interested in school. Like,
yeah.
I don't think I'm an idiot. I just think, and so this guy comes back and he goes, nope, he really just doesn't want to try. He goes, these
Just
results
doesn't give a
show he's
damn.
fully capable. He goes, I
Dude, I
spent an
had the
hour
same
with him.
test. They go, you have a learning disability, and then they actually came to the conclusion I do have a learning disability in reading and writing.
Oh wow,
But what does
no,
that even mean? That just it I would always grab I always did awesome in math. I was in advanced math classes,
oh
and I
wow,
just feel like they're either really good at like English and stuff or they're good at like the math side. And I've
you're
always
one
just
of
gravitated
those.
towards the math side. Same thing with music. I think they're all interconnected. There's a lot of
Well,
mathematics
what
connected to the
color
music.
was the dress?
Oh, it was polka dot, asshole.
No, the blue and black or the gold
Oh,
and
I don't remember.
I was blue and black. I'm just curious how that mathematic mind, because that is the contrast. I mean, I remember in college, and this is only going back 7 years. Um, I was on my own dollar stellar. I was killing it. I had a 4.0. I was like 2 years in, and I got my first C. It was math. I had to do math. Finally, the college was like, "Yo, dude, like you've done every other class. Now you've only pigeonholed yourself. Do you have to take this algebra class?"
Yeah.
And it was only algebra. But dude, I could not. My mind could not go back in time. I hired a tutor. I ended up with a C, and I fucking was so mad at myself. That's the only grade I fucking nicked. But
That's college you were in?
yeah, yeah. Well,
What
dude, I
level?
didn't. What level algebra? College algebra? I don't know. It seemed
What
you probably would have been a whiz with it, bro. I suck at math, dude. It ain't my strong. Maybe why I didn't. My business didn't work. Uh,
Guy
no, but I
wasn't
just
checking the books.
that literally was my business partner's only job when I brought him on. I'm like, dude, you gotta do all this book work. I know how to go out and make a sale. People seem to like me, so I can go out and talk to people. I'll do all that. I'll be on the front side. You're the behind the scenes shit. So literally, if anything was smart that I did there, I knew that my weak suits.
Right. Everybody has pluses and minuses. It's actually quite noble to recognize your weaknesses and then focus on your strengths.
It takes me, I feel like, longer. I see some of these people out there, dude, by 21. Like my boss, dude, is like 20, 24. He's
Right
sharp
now?
as a whiz when it comes to that kind of shit. Like being able to tell the type of person you are and like real quickly, mostly with women, but like even with men. And that's a
Yeah.
talent. I'm not good at that.
So what level of math did you take in high school?
Algebra. I got up to
Oh,
geometry if that's above, but
I don't know. I think they're all different. I was in trigonometry at one point, I think, and
way
then
above
pre
me.
I was in pre-calc, I think was my senior year.
I was shoving your people into lockers at that point.
This guy was taking acid in the middle of the day.
Embarrassed. Yeah, right. So,
I
well, I will
remember,
say this. When I would go into Spanish class, I had Spanish class right after lunch.
yeah,
Senior Mason, God rest his soul, because after school, because of Scott Fargo, we ended up becoming actually pretty cool. And he taught me that this guy's way cooler than what I got to see at school. But I would come in from lunch where we would go down, like we were talking on our rap ideas that didn't make the air, go down and
yeah,
get a dime bag and
uh-huh.
come back, smoke it at lunch, come back to school. And I'd walk into that class and he'd literally be at the door, hola, hola, hola. And then he'd see me, he'd see my red eyes, and he'd grab my book out of my hand, walk over to the second story window and throw it out the window. And he'd go, no need for Mr. Marcati to worry about Spanish today because he
Yeah.
smoked his lunch. So this goes on for about 3 weeks. And then the little salesman I am, I end up pulling him aside after about 3 weeks of him throwing my book out of the class. I'm learning nothing. I'm disrupting class. I'm being myself. And
Yeah.
I pull him aside after class. I say, this is horrible for both of us, dude. I go, don't you see I'm disruptive? I'm not learning anything. Why don't you just hook me up with a C and I won't even come anymore? I'll take 2 lunches. There's a second lunch here. I'll take my
Oh yeah.
first lunch
A
and then my
double.
second lunch. And then I'll go to my fifth hour. Forget fourth hour. And he goes, you know what? I would never even entertain this with most people. He goes, but you are disruptive and you're not learning anything. He goes, you don't even care. He goes, I will give you a C grade. Don't come anymore. I said, done. And I had 2 lunches for the rest of that year.
Dude, I have an exact same story. I had Italian right after lunch, and I'd come in all blitzkrieg myself.
God, I wish we had
I wouldn't even
Italian there.
attempt to learn the fucking words. The teacher would have me come up to the front of the class. I would just yell gibberish. Name was Giacomo.
And Giuseppe.
What was your name? Did you pick a Spanish name?
Oh, fuck. I don't remember.
Yeah, I remember mine, old Giacomo. But I had a couple of, I
That's
had some really,
Italian? Christ, I don't have one relative named Giacomo.
I looked for
Sounds
the most
French.
obscure, stupid name I could find. Dude, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
when we were talking about how our old high school classes were our own little personal stand-up sessions,
Yeah.
this was the crowning achievement
Oh
of my
yes. Oh
day.
yeah. What do you? Foreign language was 100% the crowning achievement, dude. And plus, it was right after lunch for me. It was my.
Yeah, mine was exactly right after lunch too. Remember when you used to smoke bud? You walk into the hallway and the lights were all, I don't know, for some reason the lighting in the high school would it would attack your eyes. You felt like your
Brighter.
eyes were just little slits in your
It's
face.
it's equivalent to tripping at a fish show, dude. I can't when like it's my favorite part, like Harry Hood, where it's like Harry, but
Yeah.
all the lights go fucking bonkers, and when all the white lights are on, and all of a sudden you can see people, I literally would have minor panic attacks where I'm like, everyone's looking at me, Iggy. I'd be like, holy shit, dude. Everyone's okay. The lights are off again, dude. We're good. But that's the equivalent. Yeah, getting too high for school, where all of a sudden the paranoia balloon just
Sets
starts
in.
closing in. Yeah.
See, I went to Western and it was a prerequisite. You had to have some kind of speech class, not speech, but foreign language. So I took Italian my junior year, and everybody that I knew took it their freshman year or sophomore year just to get it out of the way. So I was in a class with, all sophomores. I was a junior, but it was ripe for the picking as far as the women's are concerned. Very nice
I had
stacked
high
class.
school down to a straight science, and literally by senior year, didn't carry a book bag or one book. But I was able to survive. I got through with a 1.1.3, I believe it was.
Wow.
Um, yep, I was able to skate through, but and knew like so. I had started Dockside just hot out of getting out of high school, right? And that was the company. I knew I wasn't going the school route, at least to that point in my life. So gym, trumpet, or playing an instrument, art,
Gym.
acting. Those four classes: acting, gym, trumpet, and
And gym.
gym again. No, well, those four classes. The other two knew was a failure every semester, whether it was math, throw that in there, or English. I didn't do bad at. Like in some of these, like math, I would get like a D plus, C minus. English, I would get like a B, B plus, but
Yeah, see, that's your strong suit.
I'd get an A in the other three or four, and it all depended. And that, but by senior year, I didn't carry one book, and was just like, oh shit, I had a 2.2 going into senior year, and knew even if I had like pitiful grades throughout, I still would have enough to get above the 1.2 you needed to get the fuck out of there. But
Right.
looking back, it was fucking great. Like you said, material. I had a ton of fun in high school, and I guess that was my college, to be honest, because I didn't end up going to college. I started my business, and there I went for a decade.
There he is now. Yeah, when I was a freshman, I did horrible. And then my sophomore year, I actually turned it around. I think I graduated with a 3.0, right on the dot. But I took a
I
lot of music classes and things like that. You could, if you have any kind of smarts, you can really finagle your way through. Like you were saying, you didn't even go to class and pulled off a C. So that's a
right.
crowning achievement.
Oh, that was salesmanship, baby.
But when I was going there, they were cracking down. They still had open lot where you could go off the campus for lunch, which that's a horrible idea. All we're doing we called it Bong Toke Tuesdays at Dogan's house because my mom would work. We'd come over to my house. We'd take Bong Tokes at lunch. Then I would go home, go back and try and learn some Italian.
Yeah.
But you could not skip any class. Like even if you had a tutorial, you still couldn't skip it by the time I was a senior. Like
Oh,
you
my
had to go to
friend.
every single class. It
You
was brutal.
you weren't friends with the right people. I was friends with my buddy the hacker that got the
You
leader
ever seen
of
the movie Hackers?
the little dude on the skateboard.
Little
Oh,
douche on the skateboard, yeah.
grabbing the tape mid ting. Uh no, but he
Those
got the
computers back then were just junk. It was like Windows 2.
well, this is he just looked over her shoulder to get this, but he got the attendance lady's password, and
Yeah.
we were we were on our way, dude. We would literally have a medical, a court. We would have there was like four different excuses that would get you out from using any of your 10 attendance days, but would still count. It just wouldn't take away from your 10.
Uh-huh.
Court, a medical leave, and there was a couple, I forget what they were, but sanctions, and other or something. But we would bounce through these to one a week and cut our school weeks down to 4 3 days. And I remember when my dad got my first report card for the first semester, he goes, "Look at this. Look at these idiots." He goes, and I love this, dude,
Guy's
because
a
my
Rhodes
grades are
Scholar.
just hammered,
Fucking
they're just
genius.
horrible. And my dad goes, "Look at this. I'm supposed to believe these grades are right. They put you got 42 absences." He goes, "These idiots." I go,
Yeah.
"They couldn't even get that right." I go, "Dad, come on now. You know I didn't have no D minus in fucking that. I had a fucking C plus, bro. This whole thing's inaccurate. 40 some absences." And no, I think total by the end of the year we had like 62 absences or something. It was appalling for the amount of school days we had versus what we did. So uh, it
I
was
had the
fun.
same thing when I went to Macomb. I got my dad was paying for the college. This is after I went to Western for a semester. I moved home, tried to start a band. Well, I did start a band, and then I was going to Macomb in the meantime. My dad calls me, goes, "I just got your grades." He goes, "You failed every class. Either this is wrong, or he's like, I know you're not this stupid." I go, "I didn't go to one class." It was right after we hit the bad beat jackpot.
There we
I was
go.
going to play poker instead of going to class.
I didn't even
And
know you were in school at the time, and
oh,
I
I
was with
was.
you at the poker table.
If you call it school, dude, like I was saying, Macomb, well, me and Jimmy, like to clarify, we both went to Grosse Pointe schools. I went to Grosse Pointe North, he went to Grosse Pointe South. And these classes at Macomb, I took this writing class, and they were teaching kids didn't had the slightest idea how to do a 5 paragraph essay. Like they had no
Oh yeah,
idea how to
oh
do this
yeah.
fucking thing.
Runs,
That's been
dude.
ingrained in our minds since I think middle school in Grosse Pointe.
Zombies. Yeah.
That's the staple of the code there. 5 paragraph essays. You got the
I think Halo
intro.
5 ruined your cousin's college career
Oh
during a
yeah.
couple semesters.
Well, he had a couple of opportunities that he squandered.
He had a couple. Yeah, he saw a couple different brick and mortars. But yeah, so he would always come over, like pretend to drive to school and then just come by and we would play video games all afternoon. And I had my business going, so I sent them off on their way and I would just be at home fucking chilling.
Yeah. Well, I had I had some rich friends that went to Grosse Pointe North, but the real money was at South. You had some real rich friends that had like apartments behind their house, didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah, we had some
That's
fucking wealthy motherfuckers.
you talk about Fargo's compound, and I do mean compound.
Oh
That thing was
yeah.
unbelievable.
Well, Jaggers. I mean, his house was off the
Oh,
fucking
yeah, yeah,
charts.
yeah.
But Jeff
He married one of
Barton.
my friends actually.
But yeah, she's real cool. I love his
Yeah.
wife. Um, you ever seen his cats? Holy shit, he's got a
Oh,
nuts cat collection, dude. They're like 4 grand a
tigers.
pop. They're not tigers, but they're for a house cat. Like
Yeah,
literally, when
yeah.
I was at his house, his personal house, this thing comes around the corner. I go, holy shit, dude.
He's a
I go,
tiger.
don't move, Johnny.
You
There's some fucking
got a
panther
fucking
or something in
yeah, yeah.
here. There's a fucking panther in here. He goes, dude. He goes, don't get too close, but those are my house cats. I
That's
go,
Tinker.
what?
That's
I mean,
Tinker. Just
bro,
chill.
3 feet long and like 80 pounds.
Yes.
They're insane, dude. The thing, the toys for it, like the house cat toys, were like 7 feet tall, and this thing goes and just jumps to the top. I go, holy shit, bro! He had 3 of them. I go, you don't fuck with these things, huh? He goes,
Yeah,
dude,
cats are
someone
wild.
breaks in, they're more scared of these things than a fucking dog. I go, it literally looks like a panther.
Yeah, I've seen those big ass cats that they've honed in for house pets. Although
Yeah,
you never know.
Joe Exotic honed them in.
My ex-girlfriend had a cat, and this thing would like it would grab my hand, and it wasn't declawed, and it was just playing. But you don't know what it's gonna do. If this thing really wanted to, it could pull off some flesh.
I always get, and I know it's sad, and maybe this gets a lot of comments or people upright, but I always get scared looking in the eyeballs of a pit bull. Like, I know everybody, and they're like, it's how you raise it and shit, and I'm like all about it. But when I'm like sitting there this close to it, and you're like locking eyes, you're like, okay, dude,
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm trusting, because it was just like you're
It's
like,
gonna
okay.
lock onto your fucking face like a neck bone.
My one buddy goes, dude, my pits are real nice. Hour into the party, dude, something goes onto my ass, dude. I go, oh, from
Yeah,
behind, dude. This thing fucking lockjawed me. I'm
took a
fucking
chunk out.
whipping it round, dude. And he goes, oh my god, I've never seen it do that. I go, right, dude. These fucking things, dude. I don't know.
It could
So
smell the
I'm not
fear on
against.
you.
They're beautiful. I like a nice built dog, but Christ, you see in their eyes, you're just like, wait, dude, this thing's like mapping out killing me right now. Hold
My
on.
buddy had one, and it loved me. I would never ever. I could put my arm in its mouth, and it would never chomp down. So if you can develop these bonds with them, they will fucking protect you till the very death.
Yeah. My
But if
buddy,
they don't know you, they are
I-
skittish.
real
Like it
close.
attacked the girl before, and that was like a stranger. Boom, folks, we're in the middle of a storm here.
Did you get to see that lightning behind
Oh
me?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's been doing that for a little bit. I didn't bring it up, but it's been flickering and flackering. You got some really cinematic appeal kicking in tonight. Did you take the ACTs or SATs?
You're asking me if I took ecstasy.
That's the next time show, folks.
Yeah, I took the ACTs, whatever one that is the numbers. I got an 18 or 19,
Okay.
and the one that's a bigger stuff, I got isn't one out of 2,400 or something?
Yeah, that's the SATs. That's for if you want to go
I
out of
think I got
state college.
1,400 out of that.
Oh damn, I never took the SAT. I just took the ACT.
Stupidly, I took both of these. I just thought it was what I was supposed to do.
Yeah,
I didn't
but
start my business right after high school, I guess. I went to Henry Ford. I pretended to go to Henry Ford. My dad paid for that. I would drive out to Dearborn, and then I had met this chick in my first hour that was cool, and we would go puff. And so we would just meet up. Like, she would do the same thing where we meet up before class, and then both our parents thought we were at school, and then we would just be home when they
yeah,
came home from
I'm
work.
starting to see a pattern about your education, and it always revolves around this cannabis everybody's been talking about.
No, 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 no. When I got to go, and here's why I swear by online school. Oh my goodness, was it tailor fit for me? Had I been able to do my whole high school career that way, I wouldn't have been distracted. I wouldn't have had they have to be the show of the class, and you still
Right.
can get that out with online classes. It's kind of more like this behavior in some of them, but ultimately I completely excelled. And I just learned more about, you talk about being able to learn about yourself, which I'm not good at. It took me being 30 years old, going to college on my own online, where, dude, I was magna cum laude. I was top of my class big time. So that was how I learned, dude. I need to have pictures. I need to have time to study, and I need to have this visual aid going. And
Right.
books and that shit, or telling me to go home and do it, it just didn't work. I literally needed a. That's how it worked. My house on my dollar, and then I knew, like, not then I knew, but and I did fucking superb there when I did. So I'm a big proponent for even high school
Arizona
going on.
University or Phoenix
Dude,
University,
they should
folks.
allow you to go to high school online. Like
Yeah,
if
but
my kids get to that age, I would offer it 100%. Yes, you cannot take away from the social.
oh,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
that's what I
still
was gonna
having them
say.
go right. I get it,
But a
but
lot of these social lessons we've learned, they don't really seem to be too positive. We're going in Italian
no, no, no,
class
no, no,
trying
no,
to
no,
make
no,
the
no, no, no,
fucking
no, no, no,
people
no,
laugh.
no. I think those played a role for. Look at, I'm in sales to this day, and with my own business, I was in sales, and that
Right.
was the beginning of me learning what I was good at, and coaxing or um, just being honest, or whatever you want to say, salesmanship there is what I learned from that lesson. And I don't take back anything that we went through. I think we're both very, very smart. And I think that we both learned a lot growing up outside the box, which has
Right.
worked.
Well, there's street smarts and book smarts, but they're all in the same camp as far as I'm concerned. That's why IQ is kind of a bunch of bullshit to a degree. It's more about how do you apply what you know, and like you were saying, you learn from your mistakes. I think that's a massive sign of intelligence.
I think
Because someone
the
keeps repeating
best,
something, that's insanity when you repeat something over and over and expect a different result.
my DUI career.
What did you guys have senior prank?
Yeah.
And what was that? You took apart the principal's car and put it back together on the roof?
No, but I was actually, it's funny you talk about that. I was smack dab in the fucking middle of this thing.
Yeah.
Uh, Saturday or Friday night, there was a big party at Fargo's house.
All right, we shouldn't be mentioning his name. We got to make sure we get the A-OK from this guy, but
I'll talk to Scott, but he's
yeah.
fucking man. We got to get him on it.
Call him Argo
I
from
believe
now
it
on.
was his house, but he was involved with me. I didn't actually start the idea. Someone came up to me, I believe it was Scott and Dunwoody, with a fucking keg barrel, and they're like, "We're autographing this thing," and I'm like,
Yes.
"Okay, all right, where are we going with it after that?" So we all signed this keg that's empty. He's like, "We're bringing it in Monday. We're fucking we're locking it to a tree at South. That's gonna be our senior prank." I go, "Oh fuck yeah, dude, we're doing this shit. Autograph it. Everybody autographs it. I'm now going around with the crew, like getting everyone to autograph it."
Is your name audible?
Dude, I mean, it was my real signature,
Or
but
not
that's,
audible, but readable? Because
I
that
would
just
say
sounds like a
yes, but
bad idea. You're
I
just
know my
fucking
signature.
incriminating yourself
Well,
instantly.
dude, there was like 100 people at this party, so like
Oh, okay.
it wasn't just me. It was literally, I mean, the girls did it, the guys did it. This was a rager. So
Yeah, yeah.
come Monday, I get news. After first hour, I think I have first hour with two of the other culprits. We He goes, "We're gonna do it right now, Dave." So one of them has a pickup truck, and this thing's in the back of it. Fucking pop the tailgate, rush it over to by the S building, and lock it to the tree with this fucking nice thick pit bull chain and fucking nice lock. Run inside, loving life, going through the halls, high fiving, dude. Fucking yeah, baby. Fucking all of a sudden, like halfway into second period, you hear the excuse me, with James Marchetti, Scott Fargo, John Dunwoody, and two other names. I can't remember them. Russell Linkwall Miller. And would you please come down to the principal's office? Thank you. So we're literally like, what the fuck? So we come down there. It's Doug Roby, who's our drug counselor. You have to keep in mind, talk about my salesmanship. I had set up a drug counseling session that got us out of an hour and a half of schooling if we did
Uh-huh.
this once a week and talked about our problems on Friday and Saturday and what we got into.
Perfect.
This drug counselor's there, Doug Roby, big shout outs. Awesome Fish and Grateful Dead avid listener. he's there, the principal, and then like the secretary, and there's the five of us lined up, and they're like, okay, uh, take it. This is the senior prank. Uh, got you. We've had beer in the vending machines. We've had all this stuff. See where you guys went with this. Just who did it? You know, it's got to be someone in this room. We know no one else is stupid enough. And they like open the blinds, and the janitor's out there like trying to like fucking cut this thing, and
Hey,
having like a fucking hard time, you know. And we're like, oh shit, dude, Bob's not able to get it off of there, dude. What? He's just
nice.
fucking going to town. No one came forth. We're all like, there's no way we would do that.
Hey, you stuck together. I like that.
There's no way that we would do this stupidity. One, we hate beer. Doug, you know that.
Hmm.
And he's like, you guys are always drinking beer.
We're
And
liquor men. Come on. And we're
so
liquor and acid types. Don't
that
don't don't
was
dumb us down to the beer level,
that
asshole.
was the senior prank. And I'm sure some of the people that flew under the radar way more didn't want to claim that as senior prank. I don't know if there was something a little bit more religious that was done that was but I know as far as the crew that party hard,
Yeah,
that was what we did.
beautiful. Yeah, so there was a tradition at North where they would steal the big boy from the big boy restaurants, the big
I
boy,
remember.
I guess.
I
I
remember.
I don't even know what it was made out of, porcelain, but the fucking
Fiberglass.
mascot. Oh,
Fiberglass.
okay, yeah, the fiberglass big boy out in front. They would pull it off and then they would put it in a flatbed truck. My uncle actually was the one who started this at North, and then Big Boy started getting hip to the scene, so they started like chaining the Big Boy. Actually, they would chain one down. It got so fucking PC that people would call there and then they would like organize it. It was such horseshit because they knew it was coming. So then they're like, we're just gonna accept this. It was probably to them. It was probably like, this is good publicity for us. Guys are dragging around like fiberglass Big Boy all over town, dropping it down the front of a high school.
Well, the
Can't
owners
hurt.
had inside sources.
Yeah. So
So
then that
they would get knowledge and then they would take it down themselves and like hide it for that night.
it was
Yeah.
horse shit. But like I said, man, by the time I was a senior, there were cameras in the school. You had to have
There
like
were?
passes. Yeah, oh yeah, because this is after the Columbine days, so they were cracking down hard. I mean, if
Oh,
you
I
go to
wasn't
high,
there during camera footage days. I
well,
didn't
you
get to
were
see
you were a
that.
senior when I was a freshman, so a lot changed in those 3 years.
Yeah, people
But like
died.
I said, you needed well that yeah, unfortunately that massacre, but you had to have passes to leave the school property, and we had old uh like special forces guys that like worked at the school, and they were the turds that watched outside, so they knew all the
Oh, they were
tricks.
just begging to peg off a kid too.
Oh yeah, these guys were all dried up, stinking dick
PTSD,
lickers.
dude. They were just
Yeah.
literally, they go, I'm gonna fucking take one of these little hooligans out. I seen one of these motherfuckers run across that field
The
without a hall
chase.
pass.
Yeah, our senior prank was pretty subdued. I think we just released a bunch of like crickets and snakes or something. I don't even know. I had nothing to do with it. At that point, I was just I,
That's
I
what I
was
was gonna
done.
say. Yeah, because there was another senior prank. Someone tried this more humane idea. I don't think actually. I think it's the opposite. Someone released mice in the school
Yeah,
hallway.
real humane.
This is hours later after the keg incident, and I'm walking down the hallway, and probably someone I'll keep them nameless. Probably someone you know though. More of a PETA kind of
Well,
person
fuck PETA.
goes, "Oh my God, James, they've released the mice. Oh my God, someone's gonna step on it." I go, "Here's one." She goes, "Grab it." And I literally grab it. And I don't know that I would do this at this point in my
Oh,
maturity,
I
but at
would.
this time, I pegged it off of her. I threw it at her. Fucking, I go,
Yeah.
"Shut the fuck up." It fucking threw it and it hit her and died. And
Wow.
she fucking had a panic attack.
Yeah.
Fucking, and I went about my day. But yeah,
No
so there
wonder
was
Samsonelli hates PETA so much.
fuck PETA.
Yeah. Well,
Not a crowning moment, but that did happen later that day. Actually, now that we talk about animals loose, I forgot about that.
I wonder why kids that going through puberty you kill. I used to shoot birds and
No,
squirrels.
I didn't get that
I felt
nuts.
horrible about it now.
No, I didn't. I didn't get that nuts. I looked at them through a BB gun several times, but I was like, nah, I
Yeah.
can't. I can't fuck. I like birds a lot, so I
I
think
would
that
do the
played a role.
birds, but I wouldn't do the mammal thing was another full level. But I would shoot snakes and put firecrackers in a bullfrog's mouth and blew its fucking head off.
No, you didn't,
I
did
swear
you?
to God, we used to do it on Hogar.
Wow, you
I feel
devilish
horrible about it now. But again,
motherfuckers.
I started doing some research about this stuff, and apparently, when you're going through puberty, I have no idea what it is, but maybe you have so much aggression and you're trying
It's
to take it out on
primordial, dude.
something.
It's primordial. It's why those kids like 3,000 years ago or 10,000 years ago, cavemen, dude, they're just getting trained at fucking
Yeah,
10,
bash it,
12 years old, right? It's
attack and saber
primordial,
tooth. Yeah, but
fortunately.
I feel bad about that. It definitely has something to do with you coming into your own and be developing into a man.
I just took it out on sneaking out at night. I didn't,
I thought you were gonna say I just took it out on my dick.
well, yeah, I tucked that thing up into the belt line and walk up to
Uh,
the chalkboard.
did you have a hot teacher at your school?
Oh, yeah, you know this. That's the first pussy I ever saw.
I what?
Yeah, my eighth grade teacher, dude, my health teacher, hot as shit.
Yeah, let's hear some stories from the hot for teacher
So
category.
she was super close with me. I would stay after class. The first I ever knew of, like, really, this was like the first crush I knew someone had on me, is because my buddy came and visited me. She would always keep me after class. I had it seventh period, and we would talk and shit. And I just was like, oh, that's my friend. And my buddy comes one time, and we leave together to go home. And he goes, dude, so and so wants to fuck you, bro. And I go, what? I go, shut up, dude. He goes, no, what are you talking about? The whole way she's talking to you, you're sitting on her lap. What are you talking about, dude? What's going on in this class? I go, well, I always stay after. It's health class. She just has me stay after. And he's like,
Yeah.
bro, dude, she's trying to fuck you. I go, okay, well, whatever. She's hot as hell. I'm in. So thinking I'm in, I don't know what the fuck to do.
Well, this is sexual abuse, ladies and gentlemen. Let's make that clear.
So we're the day before, I'm sitting on her lap. She's giving me all the test results. I got an A in this class because she would always, after a test, have me stay after, and I would literally sit on her lap, and she would give me all the results.
The
I put
only A
the
you've ever got, so something was fishy, and I don't
health
mean
class
between her
in eighth
legs.
grade. So
Yeah.
I get an A, right? Or I'm doing the test with her, and she goes, "You're the first one I'm telling besides my husband." I said, "Oh, what's that?" She goes, "I'm pregnant." I said, "Oh shit." I said, "All right, congratulations." She's like, "Well, don't tell anybody." I'm like, "No doubt." Well, the next day during class, I almost can't shut the fuck up. I got this nugget of fucking uh,
Truth.
truth going on, and this woman starts, like, she kind of like called me out on something, and I don't remember what it was, but like I remember she started, like, pissed me off at the beginning of class, and then in the middle of it, she said something like through the class to me, like, to me, this was like my get out of, I got something over your head. I can just be a fucking class clown now hard, but it wasn't that case.
Yeah,
And so
like
she,
being
like,
pregnant is that bad of a thing, especially when you're
she
married.
said something to me, and I go, well, why don't you tell the class how you're pregnant? And she goes,
Whoa.
get out in the hall right now. And I go, okay. And I go out in the hall, and I'm laying on my back
It was
like
like a
this.
bomb. It was the bomb fucking routine.
I'm laying on my back like that, with my knees up, like I'm chilling on the beach. She's got a skirt on. She walks out in the hallway and steps right over my face. And she goes, "You want to come back in now?" And I'm just in, like, it's the first pussy I've ever seen in real life. I go, "I want to come in." And she
Yeah.
goes, "Well, come in," and
Yeah.
steps over me and brings me back into class. Held me
I
after
thought she was gonna
class.
give you a personal diagram of where the babies actually come from.
I took her to a Tigers game because my dad worked for the Tigers, and I was like, I'm gonna bring my teacher to a Tigers game. So we went on like one little innocent date, but just a little
Uh-huh.
just a little kiss. That's all I had with her.
Yeah, it's weird. I had a pretty good looking health teacher too. What's going on with that?
They really liked, once they know how to share it, then they really want to start sharing it. I don't know, but
Yeah, and that was like during the sex ed where it wasn't to the point of telling you what sex was. It was just talking about the diseases and all that stuff.
the people in that class, I had some good close friends in there, and I was like, dude, I got to see so and so's pussy. They're like, what the fuck, hell yeah! But they had seen this demographic, or this relationship going
Yeah,
on, and they were like,
interaction.
dude, what the fuck, bro? You have it like made with this woman, like you're getting all A's. Like, dude, I was totally taken care of in the class, like,
Hmm.
until that day where she's, that's why like kind of cut me off. I had run of this class, but then after she had told me about the pregnancy, and I was figuring mood swings or something, or regretting telling me, she was very different the next day. But then once she showed me her thingy, I was like, well, she had this all built up in her head there, and this big move, send me out in the hall. Even after class, I remember being like, that was a big show, huh? You just show me that. And
Oh
she goes,
yeah.
what do you mean? What do you
Yeah, you
mean?
always see these teachers that are actually pretty good looking hooking up with these kids and you're just thinking, "Wow, what a lucky bastard." But in reality, it is kind of sick because you don't know shit at that
I
age.
wouldn't have known what to do, dude. I
It
had
might
my
have
first
scarred the piss out
official
of you.
makeout session later on. Yeah, it may have. Who knows? I was shitty at sex till I was like 25, 26, where I really had more
Or
practice.
34.
Yeah, 30. Who knows? Yeah, right. Don't ask the girls between
Uh,
26 and 32.
I licked the alphabet.
Mm-mm. I didn't like giving head.
No?
Definitely not younger.
Yeah. Man, those are some good times. I was going to ask you, what was your favorite year of high school?
Probably senior because I did so little. I took advantage of the system so hard.
Right.
Um, I already had a job across the street at the little village market there, so I was working after school till about 7 at night. So I was making money.
He had a little coin in his pocket.
But junior year was a shitload of fun too.
Yeah.
But seniors, dude, it's gotta be seniors. You're running the fucking block. I remember getting pinned up against lockers when I was a freshman, like by
There's
some
a lot of
senior.
pressure
I didn't
as a
even know who the
senior, though.
senior was. I had made some waves. I hooked up with a girl that was dating my buddy. He almost beat my ass after school one day. He could have. Luckily, my mouth got me out of it. That was freshman
Hmm.
year. I took my mom's car and crashed it freshman year to hook up with said girl. And so I got kicked out of my mom's and moved in with my dad's. That all happened at the very beginning of freshman year. So that was a rowdy restart. But he ended up
Hmm.
buying a house right by South and shit. And in hindsight was amazing for the whole family. I think my mom and everybody.
Yeah, perfect location.
Right.
Yeah, for me, it's a toss up because when I was a freshman, my sister was a senior, so she was having people. My mom was she's been divorced for a while at this point, and she started dating a guy, and they had a place at Harson's Island, so they would go up there for the weekend, and my sister would have parties. I didn't even know what was going on because I barely smoked pot. I mean, I was smoking then. I just started smoking, and when you start smoking pot, it's like the craziest drug ever. Those first couple of highs will take you into another dimension.
Oh
So
yeah.
I was totally okay with just puffing. I didn't even drink, but I'm pretty sure people at these parties were taking ecstasy, acid. It was all a shit show. But yeah, so my freshman year was pretty damn fun. Um, you couldn't do any of the initiation stuff anymore because again, people were getting in trouble by the police. People used to throw water balloons with bleach in them, and they would chase you down like in Dazed and Confused. They wouldn't maybe attack you, like paddle you, but they would fuck with you. They'd
Oh, my
squirt guns with like,
classmates. I didn't do any of that, dude. I was cool with everyone from freshman to senior. And a lot
yeah,
of it goes on, like talking about the math class and shit. I was actually a senior in math classes with freshmen, 100%. Maybe ones that were
yeah,
more advanced, but
yeah. That's starting to make
I was,
sense here. The guy took algebra when
I
he was
was,
a senior.
yeah, right. I was cool with everybody. So, like,
He's
but
got eighth graders in his class.
I have buddies that chased kids down and made them drink chaw spit
Oh,
out front of
yeah.
Kirby when they
Oh
got
man,
out. Oh, ugh.
that's brutal.
Yeah, they literally got arrested for it. Literally got in some hot water over this. It became a big thing.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that was when the PC culture was starting to rise up.
That was the
But
beginning of the
we
yeah, soccer
I got like
moms.
an F written on me. The thing with the abuse was
Oh god, I don't want to know what that stood for.
it was for freshmen.
Oh, oh,
So I got what was cool though was after you got the abuse, they would be your friend almost because I don't even
yeah,
know how the camaraderie through it all. But plus my sister was a senior, so all the guy friends. I mean that's how me and you met because
yeah.
you guys were hanging out and stuff. I yelled at Jimmy for playing my Nintendo 64.
What the fuck? All these kids in here playing my shit.
But yeah, I gotta say though, senior year was pretty badass because we had a band and we were playing shows. The band was absolute garbage, but we were like the only band in the school, and we were pretty popular. So we threw a party up at the VFW hall on Harper, and the whole school pretty much showed up at this fucking thing. We made like 3 grand. It was out of control. Again, the music was absolute shit, but the party was very, very cool. And then my buddy had a farm up on by like 26 Mile Road, and our band name was called the Marm. And then we had this
Oh
party
yeah,
called
yeah,
Down on
yeah,
the
yeah.
Marm, or Marm on the Farm. And we played a festival, not a festival, but like a
The
bunch of
Marv.
sets on this kid's inland lake. And then people were camping out, and dude, it was out of control. We took my buddy's uh, minivan through the crop field and did like $10,000 worth of crop damage, just driving around off
Is
roading.
that the Marv?
Yeah, it was
Fucking
it was out of
kill them.
control. Man,
Oh,
those were
I
the good
forgot
old
about the
days.
Marv. Yeah.
Yeah, because then my cousin Rob, after my cousin Maisie moved, we brought in a different cousin to play the guitar. That was probably when you started coming around more. Then maybe we were playing that. Remember we were talking about playing that show, that Halloween party in your garage?
Yeah.
That must have been around those days.
Leg ligament eye.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like junior year, there's a lot of shit going on because that's when you take all those tests. That's when you have to pick a college. You got to get your shit together or
That's
not.
true. Junior year was sweet. I want to say junior year, but because I was hanging out with seniors and shit, but
Right.
it, it just I just feel like it was like you said, it was less stress. I wasn't trying to get to any college or anything.
Well, we know
Toss up.
your
Both those years had major
trajectory. Yeah,
backside.
I had a pretty good experience in high school. I've talked to some people that really just didn't have a good time. I feel bad. Dude, you know what my biggest regret is? I used to make fun of some kids, and I ran into a kid that I used to really lay into. I created a nickname for him. I'm not even gonna bring this up right now, but well, no, I don't want to go back into those days. But I called him and I made a nickname up for him, and the name spread so hard that the substitute teachers would call him by this name. And then fast forward like 20 years, I saw him at the bar, and dude, I was really felt bad. I apologized to him, and he told me to go fuck myself, which again, he has all the right to do that. But
Literally. So he
yeah,
was mad till this day.
dude, dude, this shit. I'm telling you, substitute teachers would call him by this nickname. And we're gonna get serious here for a minute here, folks. You can't go back in time. And that's one of the things that actually haunts me quite a bit. I feel very bad because it's like, oh, I got a couple of good jokes. I made a
Wow,
class
you don't
laugh.
strike me as
This
a
kid's life
bully
I got
though at
destroyed.
all.
It wasn't necessarily a bully. It was more, well, it is a bully. It was a mental bullying, if you
Yeah.
will.
Oh yeah.
But by the time I was a senior, I started getting into like Lord of the Rings and shit, and I just didn't give a fuck because I already established myself. So it was like whatever. I started hanging out with everybody, you know.
Yeah, I was like that. Yeah, big time.
I'd pick the kid's brain. I'd pick this one kid's brain because he knew everything about Lord of the Rings.
How long of an apology did you go out before he goes, go fuck yourself?
I don't. I was at the bar. I was up at the local watering hole by my house, and he popped in there with one of these other kids I used to kind of give a hard time to. And yeah, what are you gonna do, man?
Well, I mean, did you say like I'm sorry and he goes, go fuck it? Or were you like, yo, dude, like that was really fucked up. Substitute teachers were calling you that. I'm really sorry. Go
Well, I didn't
fuck
bring that
yourself.
up. No, I just pretty much told him, hey, man, I was an asshole back then. I tried to make people laugh. I tried to make myself cooler and elevate my status by making everybody laugh. That was like my goal. Because when I was in like seventh grade, I was kind of a dork. Again, I didn't have my sister at the same school with me. I was a kind of a quiet guy. I
Right.
was
It can
friends with
happen to
my.
anyone for sure, even popular to non popular. But so did he say, okay, no problem? Or literally he goes, go
No, he
fuck
said,
yourself?
"Go fuck yourself." I go, "Hey," I go, "You have all the right to have the anger, but
Wow. You
again,
really got to.
it's
Holy moly.
yeah, dude, it's almost self-serving for me to say that to him though, because first of
Yeah.
all, it's
100%.
not gonna take his pain away. It's just gonna take my
Yes, it
pain
will.
away.
It'll help. He didn't realize it in that moment, and obviously he had anger built up. But no,
Yeah,
it'll 100% help. It served its purpose. That was huge to do.
yeah.
I just wanted to. I was curious because that's the balls in person. Most people wouldn't do that. I applaud him for getting that off his chest as much as you got it off your chest because
Yeah,
that was important. Seriously, for both. That's because that takes some balls. Most people
yeah.
would
The
be
be
like, "Oh, dude, thank you so much," and then later be like, "Fuck that dude, dude." But that was cool. He said sorry, but to be full frontal with. Go fuck yourself.
Uh, hey, man,
It
maybe
depends. I
that
guess
was
if
what he
I'm
needed to do.
drinking, who knows? I don't
Right.
know how I'd be.
He needed to do that. He needed to put me in my place because at this point in life, we're all the fucking same. That's why it's crazy because high school, you're developing so much. Your mind is, coming together. You're becoming an adult and stuff. So a lot of the stuff that goes down there has a big impact on you. Like you were saying, this is where we started developing these comedy skills and they've continued to this day. But if you've had negative interactions, and I could see that affecting you in a negative way as well.
I didn't have too many bullies, and I wasn't a bully, but the one that I would pick out or I get a friendly reminder of is I see a Facebook friend request constantly for someone that used to bust my chops, and I'm always like, what the fuck? Like the algorithm doesn't know. Fuck this dude. It's kind of the
Yeah,
same thing, you know. But if he came up with me
you
in a
gotta tell
bar,
them.
it wasn't that bad. Like I feel like I had two bad parties with this dude, where I was like, fuck this guy, but I never saw him at school and shit. He actually went to Liggett, so that helps, right? But
But my
um
my particular circumstance was different though because it's like, yeah, first of all, the kid did something that was like stupid and I made fun of him one time and then everybody it just caught on. So I was the root of the name. It wasn't like I was destroying this kid day in, day out, but I
did
was
he
the
know that?
cause.
He
Oh
must
yeah,
have
oh
known
yeah.
that.
Yes, yes, he knew that. And I wasn't a bully either. I had kids coming up to me calling me poor ass because I lived in Harper Woods all the time. So it was spread it was spread pretty evenly. And you know what my response to that was? It's like, dude, I don't fucking work. I go, I have a single mother. How is that even an insult to me? Yeah, my family doesn't
That's
have as
the
much money as you,
most
asshole.
ridiculous shit ever.
You poor ass.
Don't listen to the poor ass. He's
But
good at
it's funny,
math.
we became friends. Me and him became good friends actually after that. So you never know what life's gonna
Oh
bring
fuck.
your way.
Yeah, he grew a fucking noggin.
Well, he liked some of the jokes I was flowing.
Works on males and females, guys.
Yeah, do you think that you need to have some kind of rough upbringing to have any kind of comedy in you?
No, I think the best attribute one can have in life for every single thing you ever dreamed to do is observation and being able to observe your surroundings. And for comedian, you turn it in comedian. For a hotel manager, you're able to see the dust on the fan 30 feet in the foyer. For the valet parker manager, you're able to nitpick customer service. And every single aspect of life, I think it all comes down to how properly you can observe your surroundings and keep a clean house, do a cool podcast, board, but everything in life to me, maybe that's why I'm stunted in learning about myself, and that is because what my main focus is observation. I think it's what makes me a good salesman. I think it's what makes you creative in comedy, and so I think to be a good comedian, you just gotta. And Jerry Seinfeld, those kind of jokes hit things right on the nail on the head of like observing that weird little nothingness in life, but there's that in every single joke told. It's observing your surroundings. And that's what I think the biggest thing is in life to be successful at it, period, in everything you do. If you're a maid and you observe your surroundings, you're going to be cleaning mansions and the best at that, and onward and upward, anything you do in life.
Observing your surroundings and then adapting to the circumstance. I think that's the nail on the coffin. Being able to adapt and not be so set in your ways because that's what happens with a lot of people. They think they're this, they think they're that, and they continue down that road and they should be shifting. Like I was a musician for a long time. I love playing music. I'm writing music again, but when I look back, I took a class in fucking high school while I was playing music where I was making videos and I had this natural skill to think of funny commercials. People, when you're doing it back then, you just think everybody can do it. I still think like that. Everybody can write this, everybody can do that, but it's like everybody has these particular traits that come easy to them, and the whole thing is like you were saying, you got to accept that and then roll with it. But I would be interested. See, I see a lot of commonalities because me and you both come from a divorced family, and I was talking to my buddy who is getting married soon, and he comes from a divorced family too. And we all have like I'm going to counseling over this because I have some I have some real scares of commitment and stuff, and I need to work this shit out. But me and him were talking, and we both literally see things the exact same way. So that's why I was curious about having some of these shortcomings as a kid. Like I came from Harper Woods isn't like dirt poor, but compared to Grosse Pointe, so I was always looked at as a poorer kid. I always felt bad. I always had to ride my bike way further. Or my buddies all lived next to each other. I lived on what some parents called the wrong side of the tracks. And it's just those kind of things that I don't know. I to become part of the in crowd, I developed these jokes almost. So it was like I was like molding myself to become funny, so people would actually like listen to me. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, it broke the ice. Yeah, agreed. Um, and I remember because your sister's my age. I don't know if I remember when your parents got divorced, but I remember your sister and me were definitely way ahead of the curve. I was in a class just like that choices class I spoke of with the counselor talking about our drug uses and shit. That was way more
Uh-huh.
of a fun class. In fourth grade is when my parents got divorced, and I had to go. It was so ahead of the time that four kids at Brownell had to go to the same counseling class if your parents no, not Brownell, Monteith. It was fourth grade. So I had to go to
Yeah.
with four other kids because their parents were divorced. Not because we were having problems at school, not because only because our parents got divorced. Because there was only four kids in the whole school whose parents got divorced. So they were like, "Holy shit, this shit's rare. They must need someone to talk to. You know, it must be fucking them up." I remember hating being in these classes because I felt segregated and made to feel different because of this. And I remember like shutting down hard in these classes. I hated these things as a little young fourth grader. They're like, "How do you feel?" I'm like, "I'm super cool with it." Like, and my parents were super mature about their divorce with my sister and I. They literally came to us a year before and said, "What do you guys think of it?" Teresa and I were like, "We're not for it. We want you guys to try." And they did
Of
and gave it a
course.
whole nother year and then came back to
Hmm.
us and said, "What do you think?" We said, "You guys have been fighting a whole year. Like, no, you need to get divorced.
Right.
We're all for it." So it was really to us, it was mature and cool how they involved us in such a heavyweight adult thing. So when I'm going to these classes, I'm like, dude, I was for this. I'm fucking cool. I don't want to be here. So like, I
Yeah, you
hated
saw the
being.
life with them, and then together you saw the life without them, and it just made everybody happier. Of course, you want your parents to stay together, but you saw that they were trying, they were still arguing. You just want them to be happy.
But I
See, I had
remember
a way
there was.
different experience.
I'll let you go into it real quick. I want to say there was a fucking hot girl in this class, and I ended up taking her to
Of
junior
course, there
prom.
there was always a hot girl.
I ended up taking her broken soul to junior prom.
That's
I
what
had a
I'm talking
broken
about,
soul.
preying
You
on
know,
the
like
weak ones.
yeah, well, they're telling us, you're all fucked up because your parents just got divorced, and it's like you shouldn't be
Uh,
pigeonholed. But continue. You had a different perspective.
yeah, when I my parents got divorced, I was 3, so it was like I had no control over my brain. I just remember seeing my dad packing up and crying. Which this is getting really fucking dark for a comedy podcast, ladies and gentlemen. But see, I have these subliminal or not subliminal, but subconscious issues that I'm really hoping that this counselor. I went to one before and he was on the cheaper end. So this guy's twice the price. I'm hoping that this guy was very cheap. Listen to me. This is a
This
PSA
guy
from
was
Maurice
real
Hogan, ladies
cheap,
and
dude.
gentlemen.
After an
Don't
hour, he
skimp on
literally
your counselor.
after an hour he told me go fuck myself.
Dude, this guy told me I was healed. I'm not even joking. I went to like 7 sessions. He's like, all right, I think you're good for now. I'm thinking in my brain, bro, we haven't even scratched the fucking surface
Yeah,
on
but
this
see,
catastrophe.
you're your worst critic in many
Oh,
aspects, and
he
I
didn't
feel
fix
like
me.
I kind of like that approach. He's not price gouging you or trying to talk you into you being more fucked up than you are. He goes, "Yo, dude, you're fucking 7 sessions in, bro. You're
Yeah,
normal. This is called normal bullshit, dude. Welcome to
no,
adulthood."
there's no counselor's ever gonna say you're fine. Now you're good for a
No, not the
while.
good salesman lying type. They're gonna
Oh,
go,
dude, I'm
"Nah,
telling you
dude.
in general.
Holy shit, bro. We better book up the next 3 years at a buck 50 a week, dude. You
You're
are
coming three
fucking."
times a week. You're really fucked. No, it was through a church. So I don't even know if this guy what his credentials were. He might have just because there's differences between counselors, psychologists. So some of them are MDs, some of them have master's degrees, some of them are just like
I don't
counselors
want the
because they're
one that doesn't give the pills.
right.
So you're at the
Well,
one that
that's what.
doesn't give the pills. Well, fuck.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. No,
gotta.
this guy had no authority to sign over some Xanax or anything. I got right
He
the
was
fuck
giving you
out of
the
there.
hand of God.
Yeah. Again, no, it was nice in the regard of being able to talk to somebody that isn't a friend or your girlfriend or whatever, a third party to open up and share some stuff with, but we just started to get going, I think. I
I
don't
remember
know.
I had a
Hopefully this
counselor when I was, I want to say 14 or 15. I couldn't help but just stare at her chest. It was fucking superb. I don't think
yeah,
I learned, I didn't learn shit.
that's the attraction. People fall in love with their counselors because you have a emotional connection too.
I
Throw in
didn't
the
talk much, dude. They had to
well,
drag it
throw
out
into
of
the
me.
mix that they're hot, you got big titties, you're gonna be all over
I
that.
remember on numerous times, because I was getting in trouble at this time. So like my parents were like, "What's going on in his head?" And got me a counselor. And I remember numerous times after about 15 minutes,
Going
she'd be
on.
like, "It's okay to be quiet. It's okay to stay silent." And she would say that after the 15-minute mark, when I've said nothing, I would just sit there and be like, "When is this up?
This
When
guy's
is this?
blown.
When is this parent sanctioned bullshit up?"
Yeah, see, I went to a counselor when I was a kid too, and I just didn't talk about anything because I don't know. I don't. When I was a kid, I don't think I knew why I was feeling the way I was. Like you were saying, how you and your sister witnessed. I remember my parents like having scream matches and shit, but I was still young enough. Like I was 3, I'm pretty sure. So I was 3, 4. So I have like the memory of the argument, but I don't have any idea of how I felt. I knew I was sad, but my brain wasn't to the level of even recognizing what the fuck was going on.
I got scared one time right before the end when my sister and I said, "Yep, it's good." They were getting in a huge argument, and my mom was like doing the dishes and fucking wiping one of the and just cocks
Yeah.
this thing and launches it. Like my dad drops like my dad had like the little one-liners that like just stung,
Oh
and my
yeah.
mom was more of the like and then just be like one-liner bing.
Mhm.
And he drops this one liner. I don't remember what it was, but he drops it, and she just whips this thing. He goes, "Doof!" It's like, psh, and explodes
Yeah.
on the back wall. He goes, "Come on!" And I go, "Whoa, mom, that was a hard toss."
Oh yeah.
And my sister started crying and ran upstairs, and I was like, "Holy shit!" I was like, and then she walked into the dining room and picked up the fucking glass. There was
A mess.
a glass thing over the table to protect the wood. It was like 5 feet, and she fucking slammed it on the ground and it shattered and shit. And that was like literally a week before my sister and I were like, no, 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 it's super good idea.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy how people can love each other and then it changes, but especially in today's atmosphere with being at home 24/7 with someone, I could really see it getting sour quick.
You know, they're huge bring up though, and me, like I'm super cool with most of my ex girlfriends, and I people that I fall in love with, I'm literally always in love with them, and
Yeah.
even if they've done me bad or that, it takes time sometimes, but you get over it, and that's why it was weird to hear that kid say, "Just go fuck yourself." But having said that,
Yeah, but that's male on male affection. There's no mutual love. This guy never loved me.
yeah, but
Or maybe
still,
he
you
did.
know.
I don't know. That might have been the whole fucking root of the problem.
But my parents taught me so much by the way they've acted since the divorce. They are super good friends. We do
Hmm.
Christmas, Thanksgiving together, even with their loved ones, new loved ones, um, whatever. So they've been super awesome since then, and that always helped. We were always together as a family for like holidays and shit. So that was always
Yeah.
cool. Without
Yeah,
a
my
ton of
parents were
arguing
always
in it.
cordial, but they would never be at the same function together. They could, because my mom's super just chill. I don't think my dad would have an issue with it at this. I mean, they were at my sister's wedding together, obviously, but
My mom just came to my dad's 70th birthday party where it was
yeah, that's
the seven
awesome.
of us. You know, my sister, her husband, kid, and my dad's new girl. Or but my mom has known who this girl is for 30 years. You know, so now they're
Wow,
so it's like a sitcom dynamic, but they're really
dude,
cool together. So
that shit would make me sick. I don't even
well,
want
they're
to
like
think about.
passing recipes back and forth now on Facebook together and shit. So
Yeah, I forgot your sister was actually in my grade and went to the same school as me.
maybe my dad's banging both. I don't know.
Whoa, dude. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, Thanks for tuning into the Comedy Cast number 10, High School Wishes and High School Dreams. I'm Robin Leach. You got any more words of wisdom?
Jimbo Detroit, baby, signing off. We'll see you tomorrow night. One of these nights, we're going to talk concerts too. One of these nights, we're going to
Tomorrow.
talk.
Tomorrow we're doing concerts.
We officially are going to have a guest tomorrow, but I'm not going to step out on the limb and promise it because they all fucking fall through, except
Right.
for a couple of the few. Thank you, B More and Iggy, Art by Iggy. God
Yep.
bless.
All right, boys and girls, we'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a good one.